We're extremely proud of the CIM Summit 2025. The speakers, acclaimed speakers from all around the world, will share insights about the latest developments and the future for businesses. Of course, we live in uncertain times. There is a lot of disruption. And the theme of today's conference, Sustaining Competitiveness in the Face of Disruption, I think it would be very useful for all participants.
So this is a great question. Most people would expect the initial answer to be AI, that we need to figure out how to integrate AI. I'd argue the challenge these days is more around getting people to slow down and think, finding time, fighting off some of the pressures from efficiency. We're always trying to go faster, more, better, and sometimes actually slowing down, looking around us, figuring out what's going on. This is honestly one of the biggest challenges that businesses face today. So it's the pace of information, the speed of information seems overwhelming. AI is coming at us. How are we going to do this? Figuring this out is fundamental for businesses, and I would argue a big part of that is finding time and space.
Right, so in today's kind of chaotic environment, the most important thing is you have to be able to pivot quickly. To do that, you need to be really informed about what's going on because you may be doing something very different than you did before. In order to really know what's going on, you need to foster a learning culture. A culture in which the focus is on how do we keep learning, how do we get better, how do we keep working, looking around, seeing what's going to work next. So focus on learning culture, and we know from over a decade of research that these days organizations that have learning cultures outperform even traditional performance cultures.
With the enormous disruption that you've seen with President Trump, I think the important message is we can't just do our existing business models. We have to innovate new business models. And I think to do that, we need to build a network of partners around our company, because these new business models, we won't have everything we need inside our company to make them work. So find partners that can help you.
Well, the most immediate concern that all businesses have around the world is the rise in tariffs that we've seen now in the United States. So what we may be entering now is a full-scale trade war where countries compete with one another and increase tariffs against each other. So we've got a chance of going back to the real difficulties of the 1930s. Hopefully we don't get that far. But there are also other longer-term challenges we need to think about. We need to think about demographic change. The world's getting older, and people are older like me. We demand different goods and services. We've got to think about how do we deal with climate change, and particularly now also how do we deal with technological change. AI is going to change the way businesses operate, and it's going to change the way economies compete.
Λοιπόν, αρχικά να ευχαριστήσω το CIM για τη διοργάνωση του CIM Summit. Η Green Energy διαχρονικά στηρίζει το CIM Summit και θα συνεχίσει να το στηρίζει. Ο όμιλος Green Energy ηγείται και πρωτοπορεί στον κλάδο των ανανεώσιμων πηγών ενέργειας. Αποτελεί έναν καθετοποιημένο όμιλο στο συγκεκριμένο τομέα. Προσφέρει ολοκληρωμένες λύσεις ενέργειας και διαχείρισης ενέργειας. Πρωτοπορεί, καινοτομεί και είναι και ο κύριος μας στόχος. Θα συνεχίσουμε με τον ίδιο ρυθμό για να είμαστε μπροστά στο συγκεκριμένο τομέα.